Well, moving back home here in Nigeria, the equities markets closed trading on Friday on a bullish note as the NSE All-Share Index appreciated by 0.33% to close at 33.183.9 points, compared with a depreciation of 1.96% recorded yesterday week on week. Well, as the ASI dipped by 2.10%, while its year-to-date return currently stands at 18.18%. The appreciation on the index on Friday is as a result of the appreciation recorded in the share prices of Guinness, Dangote Cement, Zenith Bank, ETI, and GT Bank. The market capitalization also appreciated by 0.33% to close at 10.62 trillion naira, compared with a depreciation of 1.96% recorded at the previous close to close at 10.58 trillion naira. Well, for a review of the markets and to get projections on how it will fare this week, I'm joined in the studio by Ajibola Jolaosho, the Managing Director at CDL Capital. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Ajibola.
Thank you.
Well, now, the Nigerian Stock Exchange is showing a stretch of sustained weakness, after the strong start to the year. I mean, considering the fact that the NSE was up to 18% in early 2013, but fell to about 2% last week. Well, however, we understand that there is still latent demand. Yeah, and also the fact that equity investors are, however, betting on a further pullback. So therefore, they were less willing, rather, to buy at higher prices. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, run off to the beginning of February, yeah. The market started on a very strong bullish note because of high expectations of very strong macroeconomic expectations. And January was very strong. The market closed with a gain of about 13.44% in January alone, which was a very good position for our market. However, it continued early in February. I think the first 2 weeks in February was very strong, and the market, as at the close of business, the second week of February, was getting close to the 20% mark. What we saw, or what we observed, was that there was some profit taking by investors on winning trades. And we saw, that this continued and intensified, as we approach the third week of the month. And the market actually suffered some loss of gains in the process. As this continued, we saw that in the run-off to the last week of the year, there was a very big depreciation on Dangote Cement stocks.
So basically for you, there's really no reason for investors to pull back. But let's take a look at the key risks for the market today. The macroeconomic picture looks, pretty positive, with low inflation and recovery in GDP growth anticipated this year. Oil prices right now are firmly above $110 per barrel. So what's your take on it?
Yeah, for us, I think the only thing that could go wrong here is if the oil prices slip from the strong showing we are seeing. And if we see some increase in restiveness, insecurity issues in the Niger Delta hampering production of oil. Otherwise, the indices are strong, and we think that the market will also continue.
All right, so talking projections, what macroeconomic issues do you think the market might be responding to this week? Positively or negatively?
Well, I think there are two of them that I have under consideration. The first is the job creation and unemployment survey that is which result we expect from the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics this week. And here, if the unemployment figures show some increase, it will raise some question on our job creation ability in the economy.
Okay, but let's also consider, you just mentioned the issue of the job creation. I mean, right now there is a current disagreement going on between the NNPC and the National Assembly.
Yeah.
Now, how do you think this current disagreement is going to affect the market?
Well, for the current disagreement between the NNPC
Yes.
and the National Assembly,
yeah.
we think both parties, and particularly the National Assembly, should tread cautiously. Okay. Even though we do not have any information that the debt of 1.56 billion that NNPC is seeking loan to write off is a sovereign debt, and we are not sure that the country gave a sovereign guarantee for them. All the same, we expect that handling it very well would help.
Well, let's just take a quick run on your stock picks for the week. I mean, what are your stock picks for the week?
For the week, I see Transcorp showing up very strongly, and my expectation is based on the agreement they signed to take over the Ogeli plant, and I also see that even in it, the opportunities in the power sector reforms will produce some big winners and big losers. And I think Transcorp is one of those big winners in the power sector reforms, which expectation is also making investors to embrace their stock.
Yeah. Well, I think we can actually just take one more before we go. What is your outlook for the market in short term? I mean, do you think it will sustain the momentum it started the year with?
Yeah, even though I still see some more profit taking to continue, however, I still see a lot of things in the upside in the market. The market will sustain, especially because of the reforms that had taken place in the market, the emergence of market makers for stocks. I still see the market being able to hold its own and continue, the threshold of gains in the short run. Those who cash out of stocks, they will plow back, whatever they get from the sale of those stocks into some other stocks that are showing promise and opportunities.
Oh, well, you mentioned Transcorp. Let's take a look at Honeywell. What do you think for investors? Do you think that should be one of our, stock picks for the week?
Oh, yes. Honeywell is the second stock that I actually wanted to talk about. Now, for Honeywell, their restructuring, is coming on very strong. The restructuring that will involve the merger of Honeywell Superfine Foods with Honeywell Flour.
But why I actually, acknowledge that, we just happen to know that, they just gained 2% last week. So give me something stronger. Why should I actually pick Honeywell for this week?
Now, why you should pick Honeywell for this week stems from the fact that their showing has been, the restructuring is expected to give, very high value in the sense that Superfine Foods that is being merged with Honeywell is the third largest producer of pasta.